of unfounded concerns on our end, not just the complaint about the camper. Last spring, she accused my son of kicking in her door during the middle of the night. At the time of the alleged incident, he was in New Jersey attending a travel basketball tournament. She has also complained that we leave our dog outside too long during the winter months. Our dog is a husky that often prefers to remain outdoors and sometimes refuses to come in. Most recently, last week, she complained that my 10-year-old daughter and her two friends were too close to her driveway while operating a lemonade stand. When I went outside to observe, the girls were approximately 10 feet from her driveway, standing there near the edge of the road by her grass. I just wanted to give you a little bit of a background of what we're dealing with. In contrast, over the last 20 years that we've lived there, there have been numerous conditions on her property that could have prompted complaints from us, included a moss-covered roof, gutters filled with small trees and vegetation, a deteriorating retaining wall, grass that at times went unmowed for months that I tried to mow and killed my lawnmower with, an aging and unsafe swing set, a drained swimming pool that remained in her yard for years with mold, weeds, and grass growing through it, and a makeshift chicken wire fence for her dog. Despite these conditions, which at times affected the appearance and enjoyment of our own property, we never filed complaints with the town or sought enforcement action against her. I share these examples only to illustrate the history of interaction and to provide context regarding the nature of the complaints that have been made against my family. We all want to live in a fair, respectful community with clear and consistently applied standards. And in the past, you have suggested that I give this person cookies. That has not worked. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you very much for your comments tonight. I will review with our codes department and our attorney, and I'll be back in touch with you.
Would you provide us a copy of your comments by chance?
Would you like this?
If I can go copy them, I'll give you the original then.
103 Thomas Road.
Yeah. It's willing to go, yeah, sure. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.
Okay, at this time, we are going to call the meeting to order. If you would please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Can you call the roll?
Supervisor Rechteschel,
Here.
Councilors Alex,
Here.
Chiarenza,
Here.
Gupta, Lee Hood, here, Mannion,
Here.
and Stevenson.
Here.
Great. Before we get to our public hearing this evening, we have a proclamation presentation from Reverend Alex.
Good evening to all of you and my fellow colleagues. And I just want to say that I thank all of you who made an intentional effort to be here tonight. And that your efforts to engage and to be involved in the continuing efforts of making sure that we remain the United States of America continue every day, that we make that commitment every day. Resolution, DeWitt Town Board, in honor of Juneteenth 2026. Whereas on January 1st, 1863, President Abraham Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation, setting in motion the end of slavery in the United States, and it was not until June 19, 1865, that it was announced to those still enslaved in Galveston, Texas, by Major General Gordon Granger. The people are informed that, in accordance with the proclamation from the Executive of the United States, all slaves are free. And whereas a celebration noting the end of slavery became known as Juneteenth and is the oldest known public celebration of the end of slavery in the United States. And whereas Juneteenth commemorates African-American freedom and celebrates the successes and gains through education and greater opportunity. And whereas through verified information, the town of DeWitt is a contributor to the American Declarative, that being liberty and justice for all, as recorded in the Onondaga Historical Society records. Mr. Isaac Wales, a slave born in Mississippi, was brought to the Onondaga military tract, referred to today as the eastern suburbs of Onondaga County, property divided up by Captain Moses DeWitt, as the property of Mr. John Fleming, who moved to this very area in 1810, settling in Manlius. Isaac at that time was 22 years old. Isaac yearned to be free and asked Fleming if he could buy his freedom. Fleming said he could for $80, a considerable amount of money at that time. The CPI, the Consumer Price Index, calculates that would be $2,165.98 in 2026. Wales borrowed the money from Mr. Rufus Stanton, Esquire, an abolitionist and attorney, and he earned the money to repay Mr. Stanton by working on the Erie Canal in DeWitt and in the hamlet of Syracuse downtown. With his freedom paid for, Wales decided to move to the little newly formed city hamlet of Syracuse, building a small house at 56 Ash Street. He married soon, and he and his wife Anna and their two children, Stephen and Melinda, lived on Ash Street, where he started a business. It was recorded in the February 4th, 1852 edition of the Daily Standard as Wales Sewage Business. Most notably, Mr. Wales Isaac, a former slave who worked for his freedom, took care of his former owner, Mr. John Fleming, who fell on hard times after the death of his wife, Asenath. He took to drinking and was often seen in the streets of Syracuse alongside the Erie Canal. But he was saved from a miserable death alone. He died in the comfort of the home of his former slave and his family. He died at 89 years of age in 1841. Isaac Wales died November 1st, 1865, due to dysentery. His funeral took place 2 days later and was well attended by the citizens of Syracuse at the Chestnut Street Church. The Daily Standard newspaper said of him, Isaac Wales, always known for his industry, sobriety, and honesty. Mr. Wales had few educational advantages, but was noted most for his industry, frugality, and accumulated a small property on which he lived comfortably. He was a great favorite and highly esteemed by all of our old citizens. And whereas this year's Juneteenth theme, freedom, yesterday's legacy, today's promise, tomorrow's hope, may it serve as the motivation for the residents of the town of DeWitt to take up the charge of sharing the real and total history of the United States, that we stay committed to telling the whole and truthful account of America, not just the story of what happened below the historical Mason-Dixon line, but what occurred right here in Onondaga County. Not a diluted, sanitized version that is easy to hear. Not so. May we speak the truth that describes an account that in the history of Onondaga County and the area surrounding the DeWitt Town Hall, where we are gathered, there were people, Black people, who were held in slavery, but who worked and gained their freedom and became contributors to the growth and development of Central New York. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Town Councilor H. Bernard Alex, do hereby proclaim June 19th, 2026 as Juneteenth Freedom Day in the town of DeWitt, striving for a more inclusive tomorrow so that all people of the town of DeWitt will count it a joy to live and be a part of a community that is committed to ensuring that there is equality for all under the law and a spirit of unity and appreciation, starting with the elected officials of the town of DeWitt, its employees and staff being the daily example of service, expressions of welcome, not just while working, but within our homes and community overall. That we will recall and use Mr. Isaac Wales as an example of one who once lived among us, worked on the very Erie Canal that flows through the town of DeWitt, who was once considered property, but that he outlived the expectation of those who believed him to be simply a cheap, accessible labor force. Thankful that Isaac guarded his heart, a heart that was touched with humanity for all mankind, that when he saw the very man who once owned him, he was moved with compassion and love. That Isaac took his former slave owner into his home and with his wife and family cared for him with compassion and unfettered care until his death. I thank you, Mr. Isaac Wales, for being a part of DeWitt's history and an example for the residents of the town of DeWitt, and personally for me, that kindness is not measured by wealth, education, public status, or political affiliation. But you, sir, taught me that it is how you treat each and every person, regardless of their race, creed, and or national origin. For as it is written, from one blood, all mankind came. Be it further resolved that this resolution will be distributed and displayed at the DeWitt Town Hall, on the town website, newsletter, and otherwise publicized during the month of June. Thank you.
I have that resolution from Counselor Alex. Do I have a second from Counselor Chiarenza? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution passes. Thank you very much. Counselor Alex. I know, yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you all for attending this evening. We will move on to our public hearing. Clerk, can you read the notice?
Notice is hereby given pursuant to the provisions of section 20, subdivision 5, the municipal home rule law of the state of New York. A public hearing will be held by the town board of the town of DeWitt in the county of Onondaga in the state of New York on Monday, June 8, 2026 at 6:05 p.m. in the town offices on the question of adopting a local law to amend the DeWitt Town Zoning Code, Chapter 192, as has been previously been amended to establish new Article 26. Is that right, ma'am?
No, it's not.
24.
24.
24 of the DeWitt Town Code entitled moratorium. It's okay. Moratorium on data centers, imposing a moratorium prohibiting the review and approval of the applications and issuance of permits for data centers as defined here in the town of DeWitt for a term extending through December 31st, 2027. And this was published in the Post Standard on May 17th of 2026.
Okay. With that, I will open it up to the community. Yes, can you come forward and give your name, please?
My name is Paula Uche. I live on Nottingham Road. I support a moratorium on all AI proposals and development. Big tech owners will bulldoze over us with speed and power and millions of dollars, billions probably in total, in persuasion tactic dollars. We need to slow their momentum so that we as residents and leaders can study, research, and assess what is healthy and environmentally wise for our families, our land, our water, and our air. What is fiscally prudent? What development will help our climate, our earth, 100 generations to come in the future? I refer you to Senator May's, Rachel May's opinion letter of May 27, 2026 in Syracuse.com. Get smart on data centers before they outsmart us. I will include a copy of that. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I'm going to just read a portion of it. We know that in the state, our legislature, Senate, and Assembly have voted to support a one-year moratorium. 1 year, probably it might get it passed. 3 years might have been too long, but 1 year is not enough time. We need to remember that in the town of DeWitt, we don't have the environmental resources or money to study the environmental impact. And if you study the bill carefully that was submitted to the state, and which we're waiting for Governor Hochul to sign, hopefully, in that bill, there are two key things. One about electric rates, that's important. The main thing is the environment, that they want time to have the state study environmental impacts. And they needed 3 years, but they have the money and the resources and the departments and whatever. And then once that is studied, the environmental committee would submit ideas for regulations. So this moratorium that we're talking about in DeWitt, we can't just forget it because, the state voted on it. And two, we've got to remember, we don't have the resources to do that kind of study. And if that kind of study isn't done, how do you come up with proper regulations? And I will refer us all to what's happening in Wisconsin, in Georgia, water systems. Every day on the national news now in the past month, we are hearing about data centers and the crazy consequences, especially on water systems, where data companies are coming in Georgia and literally without permission, siphoning off the water from the town's water and then polluting it to boot and not paying for it and with no permit. And if we think that can't happen, I can refer you to some things that have happened up on Woodchuck Hill Road that nobody knows about our water being diverted across Woodchuck Hill Road. So these things can happen. Funny thing, who knows what powerful people do. And so as a town, I want us to think that across our whole country, ocean to ocean, sea to sea, towns, governors, cities, and states, and even our national government are assessing the same issue that we're talking about tonight. They're all debating, and the residents are coming forward and say, I can't drink the drinking water in my well or in my pipes. And I don't have $500 a day for each assessment to determine whether that water is potable, and I can't afford to buy the water. And I live in one municipality. So what's happening in Clay and what's happening in Lansing and what's happening up Baldwinsville, whatever, up that area, and all across New York and all across the whole United States has tremendous impact, not for us, for future generations. And I want you to think of this as a spiral. We're sitting right here in DeWitt, and we're debating, is this good for our water? Is this good for our children? Is this good for our land, the value of our properties? And then we go out all of Onondaga County. It's happening in other towns in our county. It's happening all across New York State, the Niagara River, the water going across Niagara Falls is at risk now from data centers. Can you believe this? And people say no pollutants. Oh yes, there are pollutants. It isn't just a cycle of water. And those pollutants are toxic beyond toxic. And we need to think about the frogs and the fish and the people downstream, because that water goes out to Niagara Falls, out into the lake, up, and eventually to the ocean. So this is a total world Mother Earth ecosystem we're talking about. New York State, AI centers across the whole United States. They want to divert the Colorado River and just, take it up. They want to take all of the Great Lakes and divert the water so that they can use it for golf courses and AI centers out west. We need to start here, but think about it. AI on all the continents, every country in the world is dealing with this right now. All oceans, all trees, water systems, rivers, ponds, streams, all the fish, all the frogs, all the salamanders, all the creatures on Earth. And then we have to think about climate change, because data centers raise the temperature in the air and in the water, and they can't lie to us. The research is out there already. Then we have the ozone. Think about this, over the whole Earth, the ozone is going to be affected, the air, the water temperature. And then we have the future, 100 generations to come. Our great ad infinitum generations need to know that we are protecting their land, water, and future. I'm going to refer you to Rachel May. She said, every time you send an email, stream a video, or read this piece online, you're accessing a data center somewhere. They're part of the infrastructure of modern life, and New York is going to have them whether we like it or not. The question we are facing is as much as whether data centers are needed. It's not that, it's whether we're going to let them set up shop on our terms and theirs. I'm going to include the entire letter. The conclusion, she says, none of this is anti-technologies. Data centers serve real purposes. But good neighbors pay their way. Good employers actually create jobs. Good investments return something to the communities that host them. New York has the tools, and DeWitt has the tools to require all three. We need to outfox the data center mega people. And we need to be wise about futures. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Paul.
Thank you, Paula.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak on the data center moratorium? Is there anyone online that would like to speak on the data center moratorium? Do you want to speak to the data center moratorium?
Yes,
Okay, can we have your name, please?
I'm Coyle,
Tom Coyle.
Richard. So I'm rising to speak in support of your moratorium. And just to say, to share with you, I'm a retired physician. I was a professor at Upstate. One of the things that I always taught my students and my residents was that the very first procedure at a cardiac arrest is to take your own pulse. And a moratorium is well, the data centers are indeed a cardiac arrest. And we don't know where that there's confusion. The stakes are incredibly high. And our society doesn't know where we're going. And we need the time to take a pause, for you guys to figure out where you stand, what the issues are, and get it right. And if it takes a year, great. If it takes 5 years, great. Get it right, and I'm completely in support of you taking the time to take your pulse.
Great, thank you very much. Anyone else this evening? Okay, seeing none and seeing none online, I will close the public hearing. Is there any discussion from the board on the moratorium?
Happy to start. Similar to Paul and Tom, I am in support of a moratorium. I would love that to extend into perpetuity. I don't think that we have, based on Micron and their resources alone within the Central New York community, our county, I don't believe we have the resources to support both. DeWitt is we're built out. We don't have green space to begin with, and that we do have is protected wetlands or it's community dedicated green space. So I am in support of a moratorium if we're able to extend it beyond 12 months to ensure that we are in alignment with whatever the state may come up with. I would support that as well. But that's where I stand.
So currently, just to confirm, this moratorium runs through the end of 2027 right now. So it's about 1.5 years from the start. This moratorium can be renewed for up to 2 years beyond that. But then within that 3.5 year time period, we would need to figure out something else. As Paul said, the legislature at the state level has approved a 1-year moratorium that would go into effect as soon as it is signed by the governor. The governor has not at this point signed it, nor given indication on when she will. The crazy part of New York State, as we've seen with other things, she basically could wait to sign it until January if she felt like it. So we have no idea when that 1-year moratorium would be. So I think our current timed one of going through the end of 2027 fits, since we don't know what the state is going to do right now. Yes, Dr. Booth.
So I also agree with Paula and Dr. Coyle and then Sarah that we need a moratorium for the data center. The few things as state is doing right now, I think both Senate and the Assembly has passed for 1 year, and they're very explicit. The only caveat which I want us to be aware of that they have done for the megawatts, 20 megawatts and above. So state is huge and they have more resources. It was all alluded. We don't have that many resources. So any data center which can be between 5 to 19.9 could literally create a problem for us. So those kind of things which we have to think about, that how we are going to protect. So that's something could have a future conversation about this, but I think we certainly should be. The other question which and I think there was one thing which I would like to also for the record is data. I think that Senator May's letter also mentioned we need the those things are important in healthcare. Technology is very important part of that. So it's not like you're anti-technology. This is basically taking our resources. And that's what we don't want to have. So our taxpayers do not end up having huge energy bills, and then our infrastructure basically creates the problem. So these are a couple of things in terms of how do we do less than 20? Because that specifically, we did not specify anything, whether keep it open and wide. That's the question which I would have, that how would we address that?
So within the purpose of this moratorium was basically anything that was a dedicated data center. It wasn't based on size. So
That gives us a whole kind of things and.
yes, that gives us more room than the state's moratorium
Right.
to be able to really not allow anything here and then figure out what we want to do in the long term. And it gives us more time to do that.
Right, right. And I think some of those things is comprehensive plan for the next year, which we were going to do.
Yes.
That is going to reflect, it aligns with it. I think that would be a nice way to do that when we especially file for extensions.
Okay.
Right? So that should be, we should have next year.
Yes, Carrie.
I'm in agreement with what everyone said. Paula, wonderful job. It was really well said. This is a smart legislation. We've been talking about it for a couple of months. These data centers are coming on so strong, so fast. Nobody really knows what they are. Huge problem in Virginia where they built so many of them. So it is really prudent and wise of us. Pass this moratorium, give us some time to really study it, research it, like Paula said, because everything goes downstream. And we need to protect, first of all, our own DeWitt residents, but our whole county residents. So I'm fully in support of this. It's a great move. Glad that we got it public hearing really quickly and look forward to voting in favor.
Yes, Bernard.
And I am in full agreement with what everyone said, and thank you for digging deep and amplifying the public outcry that needs to be about this. It is, I think, something that we call the quote unquote average citizen really needs to be aware of. And our taking the time to do this fits right within the proverbial, and an ounce of, an ounce of caution is worth a pound of cure. So doing the due diligence of taking the time in alignment with what the state is doing, and additionally, our own information gathering shows that we are not just concerned about the moment, but in perpetuity. What is this going to do to our country, the county, the town, the county, the state? It is far bigger, as Carrie said, what it's already been proven and seen. You can see what has happened in other states and other areas. And we can't afford for that to be taken lightly. So I totally agree and support it.
Okay. Anything from anyone else? Okay. I did just want to say I similarly am completely in favor of this, and I wanted to thank our town attorney, Matt Natoli, for writing this moratorium up quickly and getting it through the process so that we could beat the state to it. Okay, I will take a motion to approve a data center moratorium from Carrie, a second from Indu. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Okay. The next thing on our agenda this evening, I have gotten, and the board has gotten over a number of years, many inquiries about allowing chickens within the town of DeWitt. This has been discussed multiple times before, but it's been about 3 years since we really took a hard look at it. And so I wanted to start that discussion again by allowing the community members who had expressed an interest over the time to come and speak to the board tonight, and then have kind of a quick discussion from the board on what direction we wanted to move. So if there's anyone that would like to speak about chickens, yes, right here, start. And just give us your name as you come up.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Talon Marm. My wife, Dr. Joella Bovalarm, and I, we live on Linden Road here in DeWitt. I can't tell you how excited I was to get that email that we were going to be discussing chickens today. I know that sounds weird. I'm a high school English teacher and I almost pushed summer vacation off the focus for a couple days. In recent years, both my wife and I have become more invested in our ever in self-sufficiency and learning and connecting more with the land on which we live. This has led us to invest our time and money into gardening and composting and trying our best to have an active hand in our food and ecosystem. We were very sad to learn when we were getting started in that journey that the town of DeWitt had the ban on the backyard chickens, especially at a time when more and more people are beginning to invest that time and resources in a similar way that we were. A flock of small backyard chickens presents a family with so many benefits. They encourage backyard composting of kitchen scraps, decreasing waste entering into landfills. They combat pests. A single chicken can consume up to about 6 pounds of insects a month. That's over 30 pounds of ticks, stink bugs, stupid little Japanese stink bugs, ants and fleas for a small flock of about 6 birds. And I don't know about you, but the increase in tick population is alone seems like one of the best reasons to adopt, maybe looking at that ordinance again. All that is before the simple fact that a few chickens can provide eggs for a family on a daily basis, allow children to learn and invest their time in where their food comes from, a skill and a value that is woefully missing in many kids today. And there's even an argument to be made for how the sharing of eggs with your neighbor and things like that can bring a better sense of community via shared resources. I know some people complain that chickens can attract predators, but simple precautions in feed storage can reduce that risk. We already have foxes and other predators in a well-kept coop, and small bird populations can ensure that that effect is minimized. Noise complaints are easily managed by a moratorium on roosters. They're the real noisemakers, and that same flock size limit. And if people are concerned about smells or unclean conditions, I think the existing ordinances on how people keep their property or pets can be equally applied to chickens. I believe it's 118-8 for residential litter. The benefits are numerous, the concerns are manageable, and I highly encourage the town to make this common sense change for the good of its families and its ecosystems. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Great job.
Anyone else? Yes, in the back.
Good evening. My name is Curtis Smith. I reside at 400 Edwards Drive. This is my first time doing anything like this, so I appreciate your patience and understanding of any errors that I may have. I might restate a few things, but so I'll just get right into it. I'm a combat veteran. Fought 2 tours in Afghanistan for our freedom, life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. So here I'm fighting for our freedoms to live and produce our own food on our own properties. The fact that I have to fight for this to me seems absurd, but here I am. There's been a petition for this, as you mentioned. There was a lot of attention a few years ago. Currently, the petition's up to over 800 signatures, but without life or without food, we can't have life. Right? So some people live to eat, some people eat to live. Sometimes we do both. Being forced into industrialized food consumerism and not being able to provide for our own families and own little bits of property that we may have seems also important. To have a victory garden, to be able to compost, to be able to have complete vertical integration on our own properties. You can sustain, you can't live on less than an acre, but you can sustain and you can supplement significantly if you do it correctly. I love my neighborhood and I understand why restrictions like this have been put in place in the past. Similar to old aging restrictions of having to have a lawn so that it doesn't look like you're living on your property, right? And we want our yards to look like golf courses all the time. And some of my neighbors on Edwards Drive do have pristine yards and they are very particular, and I'm very sensitive to that as well. I love walking on my street. I don't particularly like over fragrances of people's laundry, and I've heard complaints about that, and I understand that there can be complaints about smells and aesthetics and all of that. And those are easily managed through simple regulation. Disease is also a concern, and that can also easily be managed through strict biosecurity and simple regulations. Our economy is in flux. Inflation is through the roof. Price of eggs was absurd during COVID peak, and it still fluctuates. But the cheapest eggs are lacking in basic resources. They're just watered down versions of what we should be consuming, right? Backyard chickens provide enormous nutrients. They reduce the tick population, which spreads Lyme disease, which is running rampant through this area. And the deer management that we're allowed to do in our neighborhoods isn't gonna touch it, right? Deer walk through our yards day and night, and you can't hunt in our areas. So this is another source to reduce that issue. At the end of Edwards Drive is right at the edge of the marsh, right here in the town hall's backyard. And the few enjoyable months that we get in the summer are rife with mosquitoes. It's absurd, the amount of mosquitoes, just simply walking out the door. It's overwhelming. I've watched my dog covered in mosquitoes, and I've raised chickens in the past. There's nothing wrong with them inherently. It's the people. Same with dogs, same with cats. There's nothing wrong with the animals. It's the people that own them. And through simple regulation and legislation, we can avoid issues with that as well. The rules regulating chickens shouldn't be much more strict than they are for dogs. Dogs are a nuisance all throughout the night if they're left outside barking. Chickens don't stay outside. They find their home, they disappear before the sun sets, an hour before the sun sets. They're no louder than songbirds in the springtime, and they're certainly not a displeasant sound either. Roosters, though they provide protection, it's not worth it. It's not worth the argument. It's not worth the risk. Roosters are their own thing, and they can't be trained like a dog can be trained to be kind to people who's going to attack, right? They're going to protect their flock. And as nice as it is to have a guardian to protect their flock from hawks and other things, since we can't protect against hawks because hawks are protected, we have to do other smart things, put netting over our chicken runs and whatnot. So it's really easy to combat the cons to chickens. There's concerns of salmonella, there's concerns of bird flu. Again, bird flu can easily be combated with simple biosecurity, having a fenced-in chicken run area that doesn't allow wild birds. Bird feeders are more of a concern for bird flu than chickens are. Salmonella is only a concern to the owner and the owner that is not a good steward of their flock. If you don't maintain a clean environment to the point where you're concerned with salmonella, that's likely a concern of animal abuse at that point, right? So if you maintain a clean coop, there's no concern for salmonella. The amount of food waste that we discard, even if we do our own backyard composting, there's food waste that runs rampant, and food waste becomes methane gas. Methane gas is an enormous greenhouse gas problem in the world. So incremental changes, incremental flocks, they're going to reduce greenhouse gases as well. They're going to lower the carbon footprint. They'll devour mice. I've seen chickens rip apart mice together, and they're happiest can be to do it. So they run around, they get the attention of all the other birds, and that mouse is gone with a split. So those who are afraid of snakes, well, you can get some chickens. They'll take care of the mice problem for you. So what I want to propose, at least to help kickstart the legislation, and this is by no means my definitive, it's just some ideas to address concerns, basic concerns most neighbors are going to have about smells, noises, their yards getting turned up by their next door neighbor's chickens because they will not ignore a flower garden or an herb garden or anything else. If it's tasty to them, they'll go through it, they'll scratch it up, they'll eat what they're going to eat. So by having simple legislation to keep them contained, similar to pet ordinances that already exist, keeping them no less than 25 feet from residential dwellings. I'm not sure what the exact ordinance are, the rules are, but those are basics, right? Change the number, make it something that makes sense for smaller properties. No more than 10 or a dozen birds. Most people aren't going to have that many to be anyways. Most people that are actually going to endeavor in this will have a couple of birds. 10 birds is not a lot. It sounds like a lot, but they keep to themselves and they manage themselves. No roosters. The coop idea, this is where I have a question in my head and a question for the board really to consider and to think about. The auxiliary building rules that currently exist. I don't believe dog houses fall under those rules because they're small and they're portable. Chicken coops, if they're built correctly, could fall under those lines if they're not built on a foundation, if they're within a certain square footage. I'm hoping that they don't fall into the category of an auxiliary building. But if they do, then I guess we would have to consider what to do about the auxiliary building codes for people who already have auxiliary buildings. But I would hope that this would fall in line with a simple dog house. So long as we regulate how large a chicken coop can be, because if you're regulating the number of birds, they don't need so much space. There's standards for good living for chickens on number of square feet to number of birds in both the chicken coop and the chicken run. So by regulating one of those, you'll be regulating the other. And I know some neighboring towns regulate them similarly. I can't remember if it's Fayetteville or DeWitt, but one of them regulates the size of the chicken coop. And by virtue of doing that, you can't have too many birds. So 10 mature egg-laying birds is a good solid number, and most people wouldn't have that many, like I said. You must have a fenced-in chicken run. Chickens wouldn't be allowed to free range your front yard or all over when you're not there. But I personally would enjoy the freedom and right for my birds to be able to range my yard while I'm present, monitoring them and keeping them contained. They will stay nearby. They won't venture out. They won't even venture out on your entire property. They'll likely stick around in a very small area of your property, likely one which has all the things that they want. If there's low line coverage, tall grass, they'll be after the bugs, they'll be after the mosquitoes, and they'll also help to make your lawns rich, lush, and weed-free, or what we consider weeds. They love broadleaves, they don't eat grass, so they'll take care of your weeds. They'll take care of grubs that are attacking your lawn. And they'll take care of the Japanese or the Asian jumping worms that we have in our area that maybe not many of you know about. I've seen robins walk past them and not even eat them. They're giant earthworms. They look like regular earthworms, but they're invasive, as most worms are in this area. But they're not a beneficial worm. They nitrogen lock the soil. Their castings are not beneficial. So I've seen chickens devour them as well, where, like I said, I've seen robins pass them up. I guess the last point that I would propose for the legislation is to help the town make this more palatable in the permit, and also a deterrent for most people who are casual about this, because I'm not casual about this. This is something that's serious, and I think that chickens are an emotional benefit to most people. The camaraderie in the neighborhood, having the kids walk by and seeing the chickens and always wanting to play with them and pet them, it's amazing. And most people who have chickens typically want to impart that knowledge on other people and help people out, starting out. We also want to pass eggs around because they produce more eggs than you can consume, depending on the breed that you get. So it's really, it's a beautiful thing. So, but other than, I guess the last thing I would propose is a permit, a paid permit, which would reduce the likelihood of frivolous individuals who would just get some birds in their backyard casually, because this isn't a casual thing. This is a commitment. And I guess that's all I have to say.
Well, Curtis, thank you so much both for your service and for coming and speaking to us so well tonight. Thank you.
Well done. Thanks.
Oh, yes.
Sorry. I didn't come here to speak about chickens. hearing all this, and I have to say, I'm in support of this with guardrails. The reason is that I grew up with chickens in the Black Forest in Germany, and we had to collect the eggs as kids, and we ate the chicken eggs and whatever, the goats, the pigs, the everything. And it was a blissful childhood. I had a high-D childhood. And when I was a teacher, we were talking about where strawberries grew. One of the kids says, well, on a grocery store shelf. This is how stupid our children are about the sources of their food. And, you know, if you ask a kid, well, where do eggs come from? They may have learned it from their little board books when they were 2 years old. They might have learned it because they went to a petting farm and they saw chickens, and maybe they were allowed to collect eggs. I think it's every child's right to be able to, maybe not for their whole life, but to know about chickens. I was in Oregon, a dozen organic chicken eggs were $12. That was last summer. Here in upstate New York, it's a lot less expensive, but we know the big thing in political lingo last year was the price of eggs, and it brought Biden down. Anyway, we can laugh, you know, price of eggs. I can guarantee that the total cost of maintaining chickens and a coop and a whatever will not bring the price of chicken eggs down for the families that keep them. It's expensive, okay, to maintain chickens. I lived in Africa, had lots and lots of chickens, and I bought a beautiful cock, brought him home, rooster. He had feathers that were stunning, brought him home, blue. Oh, asked the next morning, and my sisters-in-law there in the village, and I said, what happened to the chicken, the cock? And they said, well, our resident cock had a fight with him and killed him. He's in the soup. So I want you to think about, this is the humor, these are the stories. Why? Because I was a stupid American. You know, I didn't know you didn't just bring a cock in. Okay, I know where I lived in Michigan, people hated chickens because they had the rooster sounds. Rooster sounds were people's alarm clock. And DeWitt has traditionally, in the past 50 odd years that I've lived here on and off, has been a community of, I will say, elitist subdivision owners who are very comfortable with their Kenlon lawns and their canned shrubbery and whatever. I'm into the natives. I have a backyard 12-bed garden where I raise a good bit of my food and share with the neighbors and elderly people. So I really think we need to rethink not just the chicken issue, but about supporting any family that wants to get closer to the earth and have their children learn kindness to creatures. Owning chickens is not going to guarantee kindness. When I went to adopt 2 cats, I had to go through a 2-hour process of adoption, of certifying. Did I understand the cost? Did I understand the medical thing, the whatever. This is a serious, serious business, and naive people shouldn't just think, oh, I'm going to keep chickens. So you may want to have some kind of regulations in there, like he was saying, that help people so that the chickens are well taken care of. But children learn kindness from interacting with animals. We have a terrible problem of shootings and violence out there, and all the research shows us that children who have pets and children who take care of animals, take care of them, okay, don't just have them there, are less likely to have emotional problems and whatever. There's an affection that develops, but they're less likely to become violent. Kindness to animals, but we need to make sure that whatever law is in place, that people, if people are not kind and neighbors are complaining and saying the chickens are, you know, not healthy or whatever, that has to be in place too. Amen. I gotta go.
Thank you. Yes, over here.
Catherine Winger. I've lived in DeWitt since 1970 and chose to live there because I guess I want to be a elitist homeowner. Fabulous yard, golf course like lawn and garden. And I actually chose DeWitt to live in because of the suburban nature of it. I don't want to live in a farm-like environment with all of the above things that can be mitigated by regulations and et cetera. So it's the other side of the story. Thank you for your attention.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
My name is Jan Sink. I'm actually a resident of the village of Janesville. And I basically just wanted to agree with everybody of what's been said so far. They really would be a great thing for everyone to at least be able to experience. Maybe you don't want chickens, but maybe your neighbor does. And you'd be able to go over and deal with your neighbor's chickens as well. And you can't take care of them yourself. But most people who want chickens, they know how to take care. They're learning that. They want to know how to do it correctly. Again, the composting, the food waste that goes to them. Someone had mentioned one of the worms. I did find out from a girlfriend that they will also eat that hammerhead worm that is a bad one around here. They will eat those as well. So there's just so many benefits. I don't know that the negatives can impact it. And I honestly believe that chickens would be a positive impact to all the neighborhoods and the entire community of the town of DeWitt.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, right.
Excuse my back, everybody. I just want to let you all know that I lived the chicken nightmare 6 months ago. I lived on Haddonfield Drive, 114, same street as Carrie, Sue O'Reilly. My neighbors had chickens. They did not take care of them. They were not in their yard. They were in my yard, destroyed my garden, pooped all over my patio, all of my patio furniture. This went on for 6 months. I tried talking to them. My daughter lives at 110 on the opposite side of, there's one, they lived in between us. She had a dog. She couldn't let her dog out because the chickens were constantly in her yard. And when she approached them and asked them, could you please keep the chickens in your yard? She said, I'm afraid my dog's going to go after the chickens and kill them. And they said, that's okay, don't worry about it. They had a rooster. The rooster does not just crow when the sun comes. The rooster crows whenever it's looking for the hens. And it crowed all day, morning, noon, and night. It didn't make any difference. Yes, and I finally, in July, had it up to here after begging them to, they have a fenced in backyard, but it's like this far off the ground. The section near on our side, 20 foot of it has collapsed and fallen down. That's why they constantly came in my yard, totally destroyed my garden. So I don't have a garden anymore. I just gave up on it. And my main reason for coming here is I'm not against people having chickens, but you need to have a large enough piece of property where it's not, the coop's not next to your neighbor's boundary or anything like, they had a coop, but the chickens were never in the coop. They were out wandering around the neighborhood. And it was just beyond belief. And the one thing I can say is when I did call the town, they were out that same day and they cleared it up because they said they had so many complaints, but nobody knew where the chickens were. And I said, well, I have pictures of them in my backyard. So if anybody wants to know, that's where they are. I am not against chickens. I just think you need a big enough piece of property and restrictions because it's just not. That's all I have to say.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
We have a lot of chicken places, Chick-fil-A, KFC.
I think we all agree that there needs to be the
Yeah, I mean,
containment and all those things in place to avoid this situation completely. I do not. Nobody wants that.
Yeah, no, yes, we understand. Are there any other comments on chickens this evening? Are there any comments to chickens online that you saw? Anybody raise their hand? So thank you, everyone, for coming and speaking about the chickens and your opinions on them. Within the last 5 years, Syracuse allowed chickens. The Village of East Syracuse has allowed chickens. Manlius and the Village of Fayetteville have both allowed chickens. I spoke to the new supervisor in Manlius, Sarah Bollinger, who also is a Fayetteville resident. She said that she's been on the board since they allowed the chickens. She has not had one complaint since chickens were allowed in Manlius. She actually referenced me rather than the Manlius code. The Fayetteville code has a permit and has a little more guidelines for what's an appropriate area. But again, this is the Village of Fayetteville, so they don't necessarily have really big lots, but within the smaller lots, it's still regulated that it seems to be working, and they're not getting complaints there in the village for those who want it. So I think there are ways. I think we waited, we saw how it worked in the surrounding areas, and it doesn't seem to be backlash of negative experiences. In fact, it's not allowing chickens isn't saving us. I had a rooster a couple blocks away from me, and it took a while. Thankfully, the codes department was able to take care of it over time. But I think better regulation and would probably still work as well with that. So, but we had some conversation tonight. I want to see what the board felt, if this was something that we wanted to move forward with researching some legislation that would allow or not.
I would say, I think
Support.
there's a lot of conversation and there are so many benefits, and with the appropriate ordinance and enforcement, I think it can be, and maybe part of something is some kind of educational thing. So I think a lot of those things can be done. So I would be very interested in pursuing it further.
Yes, Bernard.
I'm not a chicken yard.
I'm a vegetarian.
No, that's not me, but quiet enjoyment of my space, one person's space, needs to be considered. So is that reduction of me being able to enjoy my yard, to sit out, and my dog to be out, to be negated because of my neighbor's desire to have they're also privileged of or desire to have chickens. There has to be some consideration, and not that, a rooster or this, but just the matter of how I want to enjoy what is my little piece of space. And to know that that can be encroached upon for the enjoyment of someone else's is something I think needs to just be considered before it just says, yeah, we want to go and do this. So it is both sides that need to be taken under consideration.
I think it's definitely a conversation and that's why I think the Manly supervisor was right. The way Manlius did it, they literally just added chicken as a pet to the town code, and basically was just like, okay, whatever you want to do, chicken's a pet, we don't care what you do with it. I don't think that's the right way to go for us. I think we would definitely need to have a thoughtful conversation, and if we're to do it, some regulations and a permit process that would make sure that it is being done responsibly and knowledgeably. Yes.
And we have the capacity to monitor it.
Correct. And which now we do have a fully staffed codes department, which is nice. They're still very busy, so I don't want to have them doing chicken inspections every day, but it's something I think we could probably manage now where we couldn't 3 years ago.
I think there are so many, things about the diseases when we talked about it. Bird flu just becomes one of those things. So those are, I think that's why the regulations are so important. that if they are put in place, majority of people would follow, but the question is, I think these are the initial conversation and we should continue to investigate it.
Any other comments?
I'm in support of this legislation, have been since, I think since prior to being elected. I will caution though that I am in favor, and it needs to be based on your lot size. To Bernard's point, absolutely. I don't want a neighbor's enjoyment of their chickens overrunning a small backyard, so now it becomes Bernard's forced enjoyment of chickens. So if there would definitely need to be consideration of your yard size and realization that they are social animals. You can't simply have one chicken. That's not healthy or fair to the chicken. So we will look at that in terms of what your yard size looks like, and we will have, that will likely be a permit discussion that we have to ensure that it's both healthy for the homeowners, the neighbors, as well as the chickens. And as I was listening to everybody, I'm going to place a task on, probably, it will likely fall to the rec department, I believe, but potentially a chicken education course. That maybe if during the permitting process, similar to adopting a cat or a dog, you have to answer questions. And if you don't score, so to speak, or you don't have the knowledge, then prior to being able to get some chickens, we need you to attend a chicken safety course or something that will give you a rundown on how to do it in the best way possible to ensure that everybody in DeWitt can enjoy chickens or no chickens, whatever your flavor is.
Okay. Other comments? Okay, well, we will put this as an action item for future discussion. Yes.
And I know you can't give dates, times, but is this something we could consider within the next 6 months, or is this gonna be a year, 2 years before?
I would love to have this done so that people could, where's the season for chicks and starting up?
Right now.
Yeah, so by next year, we would be done well in advance so people could plan and we could do a permitting process. I would hope there's a minimum time with writing legislation, having public hearings, submitting it to the state. It's at least 2 to 3 months at a minimum to have some thoughtful conversation like we want. It will take a little bit more than that, but my goal would be done before the end of 2026 so that people would have ample time to plan for next year.
Okay, so excuse my ignorance, someone said, but where do chickens go in the wintertime when it's cold?
Chicken coop.
Yeah, I think they.
And then you shovel a little walkway like you do for your little dogs.
How do they stay? You gotta
They
warm
don't
them in there?
freeze outside. My mother doesn't. You want to-
Yes, there's a.
I have friends in Poplar that have chickens and they're just out in the winter. If it's really cold, they'll stay in the coop, but shovel a little path and. Yeah, they're pretty self-sufficient.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Once you get the kids to be
Any further information regarding another shopping town hearing with the county executive schedule?
There's nothing, well, is there anything else on chickens? Yes, good.
Question related to your comment. If after looking at the size of the property, will that determine how many chickens that person is allowed to have? If it's a smaller property, will they be given, okay?
Yes, and similar to the coop requirements as well, which would probably drive the number of chickens based on how big your yard is, if you could sustain a coop. And then the coop size will determine ticket and the amount of chickens that you can have. But also similarly to our dog and cat permits, if you're found to be an unabiding chicken owner, your ability to maintain chickens will be revoked. So there will be recourse in this policy if you're a continuous code breaker.
Okay, so if you have not emailed the supervisor at DeWittNY.gov previously about chickens, if you have before, you're all set. When we have something chickens, we will reach back out to you. But if you have not, please do, and you're interested, just email that you're interested in the chicken legislation to that email, supervisor at DeWittNY.gov, and I will make sure that you are kept informed on the advancements in this situation. Very quickly to the shopping town question, there is no update at this point. As soon as there is one, I will inform the board and inform the public. Okay, the next thing on our agenda this evening is a presentation and discussion from our DAC. Dennis, thank you.
Yeah, this is not exciting. So anybody who's staying, my name is Dennis Payne. I'm the chairman of DAC, which is the DeWitt Advisory Conservation Commission. I'm here, actually, we are here to talk about specific things. One is just a review of what we've done in the last year or so to keep ourselves busy since the last time we talked to the board. The second thing is I'm going to turn the floor over to Sonia Krot, who's going to talk about the status of the sustainability policy. First, the first thing we've done is actually we've gotten 2 new members. They're not here tonight, but that's given 2 new voices. They've given us new thoughts. Plus, it's made us much younger than we started the year.
Way to go, Dennis.
Thank you. That's not me, that's them. Let me introduce who is here. We have, you want to say who you are?
Angela Weiler.
Angela is our person behind the brush ordinance. Sonia Cron.
Sonia Cron.
And Dave Mitchell, who is also the chair of our incredible tree committee. Gordon's here. Oh, Gordon is here. I'm sorry. I didn't even see it. So Gordon is our legendary veteran member, and he was the chair of DAC for years and years. Is that fair? Years and years. We did work on the brush ordinance. Angela presented it, and this is a question that you don't need to answer tonight, but we would really like to know what the status is of that brush ordinance now that we have the code department. We have a really interesting thing that came to us this year. There's a piece of property in the town called the Richards Tract or the Richards Land, sort of along Route 481 behind Jamesville Road. And Professor John Stella from BSF brought a crew of grad students who did a project on this property. And it's something that they sort of overwhelmed us with the interest in this. It's something that we could potentially, the town could potentially turn into a park and trail. We'll at some point come back and talk about it in detail, but that's, I think they really stuck this and we bought the whole thing. We're back in the deer business, working on deer and culling and everything else, and we're working with Cornell Cooperative Extension on that. We are still doing our Earth Day project every year, and we've had an interesting development because Rocco's people reported that they picked up 93 tires in that week of Earth Day, which is an overwhelming number. And Max and Rocco and I talked earlier today, and I talked to Chief Spencer a little while ago, and we're seeing if we can get some trail cameras or something to put in a couple of these spots where tires and other debris is being dumped. And it's a help.
I'm sorry, Dennis, you said 93 tons?
93 tires.
Tires.
It's really an overwhelming number. It's an incredible help. And we need to do something about it. And we've always complained about it, and nothing was able to be done. But I think if we get somebody to catch whoever's doing it, that would go a long way. And then the last thing is we have this incredible tree committee that Dave runs. That if you need a tree planted, he's the man to see. You want to say something? Yeah, and then go to Sonia.
I can just say, we've been sending out little reports at the beginning of every year that kind of summarize what we're doing. But we sort of have a lot of different things that we do every year. Some of it's educational. We work with schools very often for our Arbor Day. Last year, we worked with the new school on Jamesville Road, worked with the students, took them out to an arboretum, et cetera, taught them about trees, planted a couple of trees there. We plant trees in the row, in the right of way, in medians. We planted 20 trees last year. we do assessments, initial assessments for the highway department. When someone calls in and says there's a problem with a tree or they think there's a problem, we'll go out and take an initial look and sometimes talk to the homeowner and figure out what it is that they're really worried about and whether it really requires the intervention of the highway department. And Rocco has been terrific in responding and working with us on that and on the tree planting. We also do some work essentially to get recognition for the town. In conjunction with the Planning and Zoning Department, we send in the information every year to the Arbor Day Foundation. So we've been now a tree city for 14 years. And we've gotten the growth award as well, which puts us in a much better position to be able to get state funding for any of the initiatives that we want to do to involve trees. And we're working this year on a grant, along with a number of other towns, to update our inventory of trees, to update, which is very out of date right now, our management plan for street trees. And that will allow us to then chance to get additional monies, which would allow us to do management of trees, which is a bit behind now and something I think we really need to look to in the future. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Sonia Pra, and in DAC, I wear a sustainability hat and try and remind everybody about sustainability conversations. And I feel like today has been all about sustainability with the topics we've heard today. So that's a nice coincidence. I wanted to just elaborate on the Richards Green Space. So that was the second collaborative efforts that we've had with ESF in the last 3 years. So they've identified our DAC as a forum to bring academic ideas and that the young people are going through in their studies. They go through design, looking at specific projects and come up with recommendations of something that could happen that would benefit the town. So in this instance, beavers are coexisting with the old Erie Canal area, National Grid wiring going through and trying to have recreational pathways. So how do you combine all that and still have something that's usable? So these students came up with ideas that we're now getting to explore together as a town to really benefit going forward. And a couple years ago, similar collaboration existed at the St. Mary Cemetery. There are a number of willow trees that were taken down and really disrupted the pathways of the streams going through there, and came up with mitigation ideas and designs to kind of repurpose the property. So it's just a nice way for sustainability in the town and have collaboration with our local academic institutions. One of the new things that DAC is participating in with the town is climate smart communities. We're part of the task force, and there's a lot of boxes to check off and a lot of action items to get to bronze designation, which is what the town goal is, and was actually well on its way, but kind of some of the timelines lapsed where in terms of where things were with the sustainability plan and policy. And so trying to get back on track with goals, goal setting, and keep maintaining timelines so that we can achieve those goals is something that DAC will try and work towards, and that's been already trying to work on. Another thing about the deer and tick management. So really took things to the next level this year. We worked with got together with the city of Syracuse's deer management program, because the deer don't stop at the town border. As you know, they're going from Green Lakes through Fayetteville, Manlius, DeWitt into downtown Syracuse and walking on the sidewalks and back. And different neighborhoods are having more problems than others, and the ticks are a problem. We've looked at Cornell Cooperative Extension doing tick drags, and they participated in Canal Day education and educating the public as well as ourselves. It's been really important with us. And this year involved direct contact with the USDA people that are boots on the ground doing the deer management and giving ideas about best practices going forward while we review the winter management numbers
from last year into this year and then looking forward. So we'll be looking at that into this next year also. I have to say, I had not thought about chickens to consume ticks, but I'm a physician and I've treated people with Lyme disease at all different stages, and it is a serious problem, as well as other tick-borne illnesses that because of climate change are now being seen in our region where before they were in the Atlantic mid coast area. So it is not something to be taken lightly, and anything we can do to lower tick count would be recommended. Unfortunately, removing deer actually doesn't necessarily lower the tick population. It just sends them to other mammals, which are our dogs and ourselves. So it's a complicated conversation that we're having to try and bring forward. The other big thing DAC did this year, and this is pertinent to the conversation about the moratorium, is Micron. So I reviewed 22,000 pages of the Micron draft environmental impact statement and presented that. And we continue monthly that when we meet to go over the potential impacts that Micron may have on the town of DeWitt, which are not to be taken lightly. So that's another thing that we've done in 2025 and going continuing on to 2026. And I mention that because there are people in our community that step forward that have the expertise to do in-depth review of data as they come out. So if you get information about the data centers, that something may be coming and need environmental review, please think of us, because we may be able to pull things together. And if we don't have people that are sitting on the committee or in DAC right now, may be able to reach out to find others to really help give advice versus, a small community, limited resources that people have mentioned, but that doesn't mean we can't get it done.
Yes. A thought just popped in my head. I'm on your email thread and I read everything that you digested. So thank you for making it very easy to understand. In regards to the Micron conversation, could we have, similar to the chicken discussion, the DAC discussion, could we have a Micron impacts on DeWitt discussion where there are incredibly smart people from the sustainability environmental side that are tracking all of this, have them come, because it sounds like you do have DeWitt specific thoughts.
Yeah, I'm the chair of the Sustain CNY Micron Monitoring Committee and attend the Environmental Committee weekly as well. And because I wear many hats, I put on the DeWitt hat as I think about it, and also actually encouraging towns to take ownership of their decision making by forming their own advisory conservation commission so that they can look at local coding and feel like they are able to stay on top of these multi-million dollar, billion dollar companies that are knocking on the door. Everything, air quality and water quality are the biggest two, but there are many things. So
almost like a community education aspect, but we'd invite maybe Sonia and anybody that should be somebody to speak specifically with a targeted eye of DeWitt.
Okay.
But maybe a couple months down the road when we have more understanding of what Micron is doing, when their true timeline and such.
Sonia, do you have anything, somebody like you with a play also that you are working with them? Because it's like, the streams don't see the borders.
Yes, yeah, we have a couple of people who are engineers. One person, his name's Paul Duty, who worked in the chips manufacturing industry and then worked on the cleanup side of things and also did risk analysis as a consultant. We've been representing at the county level in terms of concerns.
Right.
So, yeah.
Because we have a lot of in-house or within the county expertise. I think if we can get that broader perspective, that actually helps. Not every town will have that, right?
Yeah, and if you want to be invited to sit in on any of the meetings, every Thursday at noon, we're meeting. And, and then we've got or if you want to read the meeting minutes, we've got rolling minutes as well. Yeah, because it's complicated.
You're doing great work.
Thank you. And the other thing that we did in 2025 is we launched a brand new event called Sun Day. It came out of Bill McKibben's environmentalist book, Here Comes the Sun, and really talking about solar, empowering us to have sustainable living. And the town of DeWitt is a perfect place to host Sunday. We hosted it at the Cedar Bay Park across from the solar array and shouted out that the town has achieved its 100% renewable energy pledge for electric as of 2020. And also we're able to, the highway department demonstrated the new electric landscaping equipment as an illustration of clean, quiet communities and what can be done going forward for residents and businesses. So those are things that are in the sustainability policy and that were addressed at this new event. And we are going to host it again. This is co-hosted with Climate Change Awareness and Action. And there's a plan to save the date for September 20th. And we get Sundays on Sunday from Jen and Carrie's ice cream. So make it fun.
Ice cream, but I
Yes.
thought it was a little shell.
Yeah, to do that. So.
It's gonna be at Cedar Bay again.
Yep, we already reserved it with the rec department and already reserved Jen and Carrie. The important things first. So more to come. The last thing was actually a request from the board. So back in 2022, the board passed the draft unanimously for the sustainability policy, but it has not been published and finalized to be posted on the website. And there really is a need to share this document widely. We're already using it on a day-to-day basis. So just sort of hoping that that could be moved forward to get it polished and published. And we all are very, very proud of it. And just if there's anything we can do to help. We tried to make it streamlined but well-researched, and it was looked at goals for a decade, and we're now 4 years into that decade without it being published.
So when the 2022, so I mean, the data center were not part of those things. So is there something you think you need to add certain part in there?
So I would say the policy could probably stay the way it is. The sustainability plan was 2014, so that's also more than a decade old, and specifics of things may end up being in rewriting the sustainability plan rather than changing the policy. But certainly, I guess I really haven't thought about that.
It came like a tsunami, you know?
Yeah, so the things in terms of how the data centers are affecting us are covered in the sustainability policy, because it's looking at getting off of fossil fuels, water management. Those are already in there. So if you look at how you're approaching it, you can take whatever life hands you and try and work it through using the policy, I think, but where is it worth looking at?
Yeah, we can redistribute the draft sustainability policy, and we'll take a look and see what needs to be finalized in there to make it final. And I think
So it was already approved as it was.
it was approved as it was as a draft. And I remember I was on the board at the time, and I felt like Ed was going to be doing something with it to finalize it.
I mean, I can't speak completely for him, but what he wished to do was he wanted to document all the sustainability accomplishments of the town to it. Those of us who wrote the policy wanted a streamlined policy that was policy, not history. You know what I mean? So he still wanted to do that. He had wanted to put in his supervisory remarks reflecting that, and didn't have time to finish it before he retired.
I think we can pass it around the draft that was approved, and we'll see if there's anything that we need. And if there's not changes that need to be made, it'll be pretty quick. If there's anything that we want to update, then we can do that. To the plan, I did speak to Alana Cantrell, who had to leave, unfortunately, earlier tonight, about this. And we kind of discussed that definitely needs updating, but it's probably one of those successor plans after we do the comprehensive plan. We're going to take what we did in the comprehensive plan and do some of these other plans as well. Okay, now we need to update the sustainability plan in light of the comprehensive plan as well, so that we can have all of our plans working together. So
that's 2017, so it's also the time.
It's also the timeline, yeah.
Yeah, that's where it's working.
Okay.
Thank you, and thanks for the question.
Absolutely. Are there any other questions from the board? Yeah. Okay, great.
thank you very much, Dak, for all the work that you do to help preserve and protect the town and for your service on the commission. And we appreciate you coming tonight. Okay. Finally, for a presentation, we have our annual report from the Water Department, and we have Robin here.
So I did upload the annual water quality report on the agenda packet, and then I created another report with items that I thought would be of interest, and I added another couple on top of it. So the Town of DeWitt Water Department is responsible for providing safe, reliable drinking water service to approximately 26,000 residents throughout the town. In addition to managing customer billing and account services, the department operates and maintains the town's water distribution system, including water mains, hydrants, valve services, and related infrastructure. The department continuously works to improve reliability, efficiency, and overall performance of the system through ongoing maintenance and long-term planning. In addition, the department works to identify and inventory all water service lines in accordance with the EPA's Let and Proper rural requirements, and administers a comprehensive backflow prevention program to help protect the public water supply. The water department is also responsible for maintaining compliance with all applicable state and county drinking water regulations, including completing all required monitoring, testing, and sampling schedules established by the Onondaga County Health Department. So water supply and usage for 2025, 1.97 billion gallons purchased from Aqua, 158.4 million gallons purchased from the city of Syracuse, and the total water purchase cost was $4,321,311.44. Metered water accountability and water loss, 72% of purchased water was sold through metered usage. In 2025, we sent out a total of 17,525 water bills. Total revenue was $6,524,981.07.
Robin, can I ask a question?
Yes.
So the 72% of the purchased water was sold through metered usage. What happened to the additional 28%?
So that's lost due to system leakage, firefighting, street sweeping, municipal operations, and theft.
Yep, thank you.
So in 2025, with that being said, our contracted leak detection company found 10 leaks and approximately 50 miles of water main covered. Our efforts to locate leaks and repair them will continue into 2026. We are actively still repairing those leaks daily.
Do you have a history backlog of what our loss is over time? Is it approximately, do you know if it's been usually around 30-ish%? Are we up, are we down?
I don't know, but I can look. I can try to run a report to see if I can narrow it down, but
I don't know if we have those numbers.
I don't know.
Just curious. Okay.
We're also hoping, just to interject, that this is a baseline.
Yeah.
With the new meters coming in. We think they're going to be more accurate, and some of this isn't just leakage. We think it might be our meters aren't accurately reading.
Right.
Are or aren't?
Are not the old meters. That's why we're replacing the old meters. Yeah.
System maintenance completed in 2025. We repaired 81 water main breaks, 8 water service repairs, 8 hydrants rebuilt or replaced, 12 household shutoffs repaired or replaced, and 15 valves repaired or replaced.
Robin, what is 8 water service repairs?
So like the service line going from the water main to the house.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Capital improvement projects. Current capital improvement efforts include a townwide water meter replacement program, upgrades to the Maple Drive pump station, and a construction of a new 500,000 gallon storage tank to improve water pressure, system reliability, and fire protection capabilities for the community. Installation progress for the water meter replacement program. Total meters planned 7,972 meters installed to date. This number was from this morning, 4,749, and we currently have 361 appointments scheduled.
What is your anticipated completion?
They projected a year from start date. We think it might be a little bit longer than that. So to date, 2 letters and 2 phone call attempts have been made to contact residents regarding meter change appointments, and then the water department sent out a third letter generated in-house regarding the importance of changing the meter. And we sent that letter out last Wednesday. We spent all day today scheduling appointments, so that letter did work.
Great.
Great.
Do you mind, how did this letter change from the previous two that were sent in terms of the tone or maybe the words used?
This one was more,
It came from us.
Great, great.
I'll send the letter. Actually, I can send you all the letter if you want a copy of it.
That one seemed to work in
It
terms
worked.
of getting action.
Yeah,
Great.
it worked. So the budget status for the water meter project, the approved budget was $6 million. The bid proposal from Core and Main, which was who we chose, was $5,235,231.15. Expenditures to date are $3,540,088.24. Remaining budget is $2,459,911.76, and those costs go to engineering fees, the contract with Core Main, and then the mass meter swap that we paid for to change the meters out in software.
So are these costs, are they for the Maple Drive and one?
No, this is just the water meter project.
Just the water.
I usually send out an update every
Yeah,
month.
yeah, that-
Yeah, I didn't send it this month. I'll send it again next month, but
Yeah,
these
thank
are the
you.
numbers that would have been for the month.
Okay, you're very good at keeping updated. Thank you.
So then recently as well, work has began on the Maple Drive pump station upgrades, the storage tank project, and the pump station at the former East Syracuse Reservoir site. The water quality and regulatory compliance in 2025, the town remained in full compliance with all state drinking water operating, monitoring, and reporting requirements. For the lead and copper tests that we have to do every 3 years, we tested water at 30 homes, and the results remained well below the action limits. And I handed out to everybody some literature on lead and copper, if anybody has any questions.
So for testing, do you do in collaboration with the health department or your town does it own?
We do it in collaboration. We send the samples to the lab, but we work closely with them to make sure that we're doing it correctly and staying in compliance.
Okay, so they get the report and they
get the report and then they send it to
I think you sent it to me one.
Yeah, I think I did, yeah.
So it will be for the lead, copper, bacteria and everything else?
We work with them for all sampling.
Okay.
So they send out our sample schedule for the year every January,
Right.
and then they work with us through the whole year to make sure that we're in compliance and not missing anything.
So how do you choose the homes?
We have to pick the same homes that we've done in the past.
Really?
Yes.
There's no random sample?
If we can't get a sample at one of the houses because someone moved or they say no, we're allowed to change, but we have to use the same homes every 3 years.
And what are the criteria?
I'm not sure exactly off the top of my head, but I can look it up. I forget
curious,
what why.
These are old homes, I suppose.
Yeah, they have to be built before 1986.
Yeah.
Yeah. So disinfection byproducts, all monitored disinfection byproducts remain below regulatory limits. The PFAS and emerging contaminants, the town participated in EPA required UCMR 5 testing, and all PFAS contaminants tested were non-detect. Water rates and customer information. Water rates remained unchanged in 2025. We changed them in 2024. The residential minimum bill up until July this year was $80, and that covers up to 12,000 gallons over 6 months. So the 2025 highlights were maintained full regulatory compliance, continued major infrastructure investment, advanced townwide meter replacement project, repaired significant system infrastructure issues, maintained safe drinking water standards, achieved non-detect PFAS testing results, continued improvements to pressure and fire protection reliability in the 710 pressure zone. Operational focus moving forward, we want to continue the meter replacement program until that's finished, reduce non-revenue water loss, complete major storage and pump station upgrades, continue proactive infrastructure maintenance, maintain strong regulatory compliance and water quality standards, make adjustments to our billing cycles once we get through the meter project, and we would also like to discuss implementing an administrative fee onto the water bills.
On what?
Onto the water bills.
By the town?
Pardon?
So administrative fee.
To the water bill.
Yeah, to the water bill.
Similar to how the city does an administrative fee.
To the taxpayers, you mean?
Yes, it'd be on every water bill.
So,
Not
but
the taxpayers, the water.
Water users.
correct.
What are you, right.
How many more?
Because it takes people to do the
How many
work.
more?
And the city has an administrative fee.
Yeah.
The Aqua has an administrative fee. The town of DeWitt does not.
It takes
Yes.
humans to do that. That's
Right.
right.
It's a lot of money at stake.
And as you had, we had the conversation, the water user, a couple of meetings ago that came in and she had some complaints about the, the minimum water usage and the minimum fee. And I talked with her, as I've talked with others, about, well, we don't, yes, the minimum's a little high. We don't charge an administrative fee. And that's basically where that is. It's like we have to fund the department and the administration and the people that it takes to make this happen. So, whether it's an administrative fee or rates, we do have to pay. We have to fund it somehow. We do not have an administrative fee right now. We have kicked it around for years, but we haven't done it yet.
I think we should.
Robin, regarding the system maintenance, are there any geographical areas around the town of DeWitt where the breaks and the repairs have been happening more than other areas?
Yes.
What other?
Rocco knows those the best because you're out in the town. If you.
So Nottingham Road, Lynn Acres Boulevard, Linden Road, Winchester and Franklin Park, Ridings Road. We've had numerous areas that we need capital improvements.
Is Franklin, I hadn't heard Franklin Park before. Is it similar to the Nottingham and the Lynn Acres? Just
Numerous
old?
breaks on Winchester itself, yes.
So Rocco, for those, I think you probably, I can see that like in a map, there will be different. So is that something we can talk about if you have how big is the problem and then look for the grants from the state?
This is definitely going to be something that
Capital improvement, yeah.
yes, as we get through the meter project
Yeah.
and then, yes, this is the next big project that it is going to be is some of those big system-wide repairs that the investment will save us from having to do emergency repair work.
Yeah.
We're using the two water projects that we have now as kind of town investment when we go seeking grants that require the town funding to do funding
Yes.
efforts to show that we've already invested in it, and hopefully that will help us get over that hump based on some of the criteria we haven't met in previous years.
Will you talk about the metered water accountability water laws? The last bullet, that. Is that the people that just come in, hook up and
Yeah, we find people taking water out of hydrants all the time without a rented hydrant meter. We rent hydrant meters to people that also have backflow protection on them. So they'll just go and hook their truck up to, and then also with this meter project, we found that people are bypassing the meter and just taking water directly. So we found that a little bit too.
okay.
But that definitely accessing the hydrants without backflow protectors is not only theft, but it's a health risk to the whole water system as well. So, we have been working to,
Taylor Road, I see them.
yeah.
One time I actually was going to take a picture that was a county. They must be doing maintenance at the dark.
Let's hope the county was using a backflow protector.
But I passed, so I called Rocco.
Okay, are there other questions for Robin?
Thank you.
Thank you.
You've been busy.
Before we let Robin go, though, I did just want to say one thing. When I came on as supervisor in January, we were in the middle of the water emergency, as you may remember, with the major breakup in Cicero with the aqua feeder. And there were daily meetings with Aqua and that Robin and the water department were actively involved in. And we've since kind of had a debriefing and a sit down with Aqua, and they have nothing but positive things to say about working with our water department. They were all very professional, very responsive, and very accommodating. And I wanted to thank Robin and Rocco and everybody in the water department for impressing the county water authority with how professional and how good of a job we are, and how well you serve the water customers in the town of DeWitt. So thank you.
And as a new town councillor, you were so good to me, both of you, when you sat down for a few hours, and then, you know, a lot of those things. I learned quite a bit from both of you, how good this work is being done. So we feel good about it. So thank you for doing
You're
what you
welcome.
do.
Thank you, guys.
Great team.
Thank you very much. Okay. Finally done with reports and discussions. Town board minutes. Anybody have any amendments or discussion from the meeting on May 26th? Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve? From Patricia, a second from Bernard. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, Alana had to leave earlier tonight, so I can speak to the budget adjustment. We are doing very good on our revenue in planning and zoning this year. With less than half of the year lapsed, we've already taken in, I believe, more than 60% of our expected revenue. We do have, with the litigation that is ongoing, some unexpected expenses related to that. So to pay for that, Alana is requesting to increase the revenue, the expected revenue by $100,000, and immediately put that into legal fees contractual for the same amount of money. Are there any questions on this?
So the only thing will be, I think it's logical thinking, which makes sense. So at the year end, when they're not used, they just go back to that line.
Yes, so if there's any money that is unspent in a budget line, it just goes back to the part town fund balance. Yes. A motion from Indu, second from Carrie. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very much. Okay, the next thing we have had, along with issues coming out of the quarry at Jamesville Road near Woodchuck Hill and 41 intersection. There have also been concerns about truck traffic speeding, as well as just regular truck traffic speeding through the Jamesville Toll Road, and which turns into Rock Cut Road area. We've had multiple complaints about it. Shane can talk in a minute about what the police have found in researching this. Basically, it is signed at 35 miles per hour at Jamesville Road. At some point, there is a sign that says end speed zone, end 35 miles per hour. And then it is not signed from there to the DeWitt line, through Onondaga, and to the city line, which, being unsigned, would lead you to believe that it's 55, at the state speed limit of 55. I think this is something that we could request. We can't change the speed limit on even our own town roads, but we can request permission from New York State and County DOT to lower them. We have done this in the past to usually not successful results, but sometimes it does work. I think we do have a case here to ask for it to be reduced maybe to 35 to the town of DeWitt line, or at least, down to 45 to some change to help with the traffic going through that area. Shane, did you want to speak to what you saw and what you think in that area?
Yeah, so I've got some complaints from residents in the area, so they're just the area not knowing it is on that road. It's not, there's not. So there's not one sign either direction that says 55 in town line up until you get up to the hill where it says 35. Any kind of signage would help, I think. Right now there's a lot of trucks on that road. And obviously on that road, the trucks are going, if they're going 55 and they're way down, they lift going faster than 55, and fast behind those vehicles. We did a lot of enforcement, whether it's on Jamesville and the quarry, or whether it was up there. We had officers there for a couple hours to radar on Rock Cut Jamesville Toll Road. They got to the top of the hill. The average speed is about 5 over the 35 on the per hour zone there. The trucks coming up the hill, and slowing down quite a bit if they're loaded up or unloaded, going to and from the quarry. So, you know, I think I would support it being lowered to 45, just driving down there today, just to double check the road, make sure there's any signs. There's homes that are close, the resident, and they have young children and stuff, there's a lot of truck traffic. So it would make sense if it was brought up to the county or the state to maybe, you know, lower the speed limit in that area. That's like an issue for the residents right now, so.
So is that Jamesville Road, when you, this is the quarry, and then Jamesville Road in front? This goes to a 481, then it goes to, where are you talking about? There's no.
So right by Rustin's?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so.
In the Rock Cut Road area.
Yes, Jamesville Toll Road turns into Rock Cut Road.
Okay.
And that is 35 until sometime as you're going down the hill, right near the crest of the hill there.
Right at the crest of the hill, it says end speed zone as you're going down the hill.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many trucks are going there and a bunch of them actually don't stop. I saw it myself, like stop sign, they won't even stop, and that just.
Do we need to have those things, those ropes that go across the road in order to petition for a decrease in the speed limit? You put them on Linden and
That's not us. DOT, I believe, doing the traffic study.
is that what it is? The
Yeah.
cords, like black cords across
Yeah.
the road? Okay, I was under the impression we had those and that was kind of the first official step to start getting any sort of traffic data to do that. Is that not the case then?
You can put out our speed sign, which will attach to.
It doesn't calculate any data.
It will calculate how many cars pass.
That is in the packet. That's this one.
Yep.
It was out there before for 6 days, and it gives you the minimum speed, the maximum speed, the average speed.
Excellent. Okay.
Yeah.
Missed that.
So somebody was going 58 through there.
But that was up the top of the hill though, so we did not put that up at the bottom where it's 55. We could get that speed down there, but that's the top of the hill, because one resident was complaining of the trucks going by.
So I think that's probably a good idea. We can put that out there and then take.
Put it to where it says 55.
There you go. And then
That's part of the issue we have.
get that data, and then we can submit a letter to request that the speed be.
So is
reduced.
that will be to state or county?
It's both. You kind of have to loop the county DOT in, but it's the state that is gonna, the state has to
Is
approve.
that a state road?
No, the
County road.
county,
It's a county.
yes, but even on a town road, the state is the one that has the authority to lower the speed limits.
Okay.
Is there anything that we can do? This is related to this location, but also all of the other painting. I know we've talked about it. The striping from last year is gone on a lot of places around town, but particularly right there. And I think it's dust covered, but I'm wondering if the sweeper coming by and then the water trucks coming by, if it's just wash it away. There's no markings there at all anymore.
The county has committed to restriping. They hadn't gotten to it yet this spring.
Okay.
But I have talked to them. It is on their list that they will be restriping it this year. I think they know that they basically right now have to do it yearly, but I'm trying to talk them into do it in the fall too, but I don't think they're gonna. I think they're.
That one concerns me a little bit just because of the momentum that those trucks have coming out of.
Absolutely, yeah.
Out of.
When they're loaded, that's
Yeah.
a lot of momentum, yeah.
They have to be
Dirt
the
shop?
dusty also. It's on top of it. The dust. Anyway, okay.
Are there any other questions on this topic? This isn't an action item.
Thanks for bringing this up though.
Okay, we'll take care of that and then we'll.
Is there any timeline that we should?
Whenever we get the data, I will write up a letter and just send it from the supervisor, but I'll share it with the board.
Do you have to have a speed limit sign to put one of those clock ticker things up, or could you just stick it up and
We're
then?
gonna stick it up down there because it's normally it's like it will have the street sign, the speed limit.
Right.
And it'll say your speed is.
Yeah.
Down there, there's no sign.
Right.
We're just gonna throw it up on us, put it up there, we'll get all the data.
I kind of love that.
We'll just collect the data off of it. I'll check tomorrow if it's fully charged. If it is, it has like, we'll put it out.
Okay.
7-day battery life, so we'll get it over about a week worth.
Excellent.
So you need a week or 30 days data?
So
I don't think there isn't. This is just added evidence. I don't believe there isn't a minimum that we need to submit it.
I mean, if you already have some and you add, more. So the more data you have, then you can say, hey, this is happening. It's not just a one-off kind of.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item on our agenda is to appoint a town historian. We had discussion on this at our last meeting. I reviewed this with Matt, and we do not need a town law to appoint this. We can appoint a town historian through the authority of state agriculture and markets law, which is what actually requires the town to have a town historian.
Agriculture?
Arts and cultural affairs.
Arts and culture, sorry.
Arts and cultural affairs.
I proud. Ag and markets is the dog license. Ag and markets is dogs and arts and culture is historian. There.
I'm listening, see?
So as we discussed and I spoke, we did post this for 5 days within the town. No one applied for the position. Brenda is happy to serve. She's actually quite excited about this. So I'm looking for a motion to appoint Brenda Morgan as our town
You don't need a motion. You appoint.
but we approve the.
It's your power, Matt.
Compensation, you do a motion.
Okay.
No, you appoint. You say.
I'm going to appoint Brenda Morgan as town historian because that is within the supervisor's purview.
One of the rare powers you have.
There we go. One of the rare ones. But I do need what we do need to resolve to set the salary at $3,000 annually for the position.
And you did last year. I thought
We talked about it, but we didn't vote on it. Yes.
Where did that number come from?
We can, if I can give you an answer later. I don't want to give that answer I could give you that answer in executive.
Oh, it's personnel.
Yes, personnel. Yeah.
Maybe prorated for 2026.
Yeah, it'd be prorated. It's 3,000 annual, it'll be prorated for the
Okay,
rest.
that's fair.
Okay. So I have a motion from Carrie, a second from Patricia. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes, and Brenda will be excited when we let her know tomorrow. Okay. Next on the agenda is to set a public hearing for the zoning map update. We've discussed this a couple times. Through further conversations about this, we're not 100% sure that this needs to be a town law when we do this. This may just be by resolution because no zoning is being changed through this map. This is just adopting a new visual representation of zoning changes that have all been done through local laws.
With all the right process.
Yeah.
All the layers.
All the layers, yeah. So,
Information.
yes.
Maybe, I'm looking at.
We're
Association of Towns Attorneys to figure out exactly what procedure we have to do. To pass it.
Okay.
So I can advise you guys correctly.
in the meantime, I would still like to set a public hearing for July 13th at 8:35 a.m. And if we end up not needing it all, we can cancel it and
We'll better update next meeting.
yeah, July 13th, which would be our regular first or second Monday in July, but we're in the morning at 8:30, so we'll set the public hearing at 8:35.
I didn't realize that was my annual voyage to Alabama. So I will be calling in on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Colleen can't vote.
I don't.
Can't vote, but can be on Zoom.
Just won't be here, so.
I will be in,
Oh.
And you're away too.
Anybody else?
but I can't call in because of this.
Do we do still have a quorum that'll be there, right? Okay, we'll be good. Okay, do I have a motion to set the public hearing from Joe, a second from Bernard? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Okay, Carrier Park change order. This proposal was in the packet. This is actually change order done the right way. After, right at the end, we'll do it right. So the fence that was put up one house too few. And so we need to add fence for one more house because this person's backyard is just in full view of the park. We've talked about it, yeah.
$18,000?
It is a big fence. It is removing fence as well. And it's also a lot of overhead added onto it. So yes, it is expensive, but it is within the contract that we've already bid. They have the same materials, they have the same stain. I would recommend we do it this way rather than.
Same vendor.
It's the same vendor. It's who installed the rest of the fence. So I wouldn't switch vendors. Otherwise it will look odd because it won't be done identically. So do I have a motion to approve this change order for the extra fence? From Patricia, a second from Sarah. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Okay, e-waste. We have had a proposal. It is in the packet to set up a permanent e-waste collection space on town of DeWitt property. It is no charge to the town. There is some, what we lose is in space, and there is some time, some staff time, labor involved just in monitoring. But there's also no benefit to the town financially. The e-waste company collects all of the e-waste. They recycle it. They get some funding out of the valuable materials that are in the recycling. And the service that what we're getting out is what we're providing to our residents. It's a service to our residents. The likely location for this would be at the town highway garage, which is going to put the burden on Rocco's staff to manage it. So he has some concerns about that. And so I wanted everybody to get a chance to see what the proposal was, to see if this was something that the town was interested in pursuing, and to see if we needed to do anything or try to negotiate anything that could address some of Rocco's concerns. Rocco, did you want to say anything about?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the highway would manage it. Staffing would be a problem. I mean, right now, we currently with the water meter project, we have equipment parked outside. I mean, how much of an area would they need is another question.
Yeah. What did they propose?
So they can go small, and having it be, I think, something as low as like 20 square feet, but they would like, what are those square things called? The
Gaylords.
Gaylords, there we go. They would put up to, I think, like 7 to 10 Gaylords in a row that they could then come in and quickly pick up and replace and stuff. So that, I mean, is probably closer to 100 square feet, maybe.
So, I mean, I guess, like, would this be an anytime drop off or, I mean,
I think
I honestly don't have, I don't have staff to manage this at the highway, so I don't know how we would manage it. I mean, you literally have to really watch people what they're dumping, because if you read in here, if they drop something off, then we're gonna be responsible for it.
Yes, it turns into dumping, which would then end up costing the town, which we don't want.
And also they put a loss agreement. Is that in the event loss or damage, a client agrees to pay contractor $300 for blah, blah, blah. So, and it's a liability on top of it, because people, you're talking computers, you're talking about anything electronic. Right?
So what's
So
wrong
what
with
about the
sun?
Okra? We used to go to Okra.
The Sun KP things they do like 3-4 times a year around.
The idea here is that it's just as a service to our, rather than having to store it at home and rather than having to wait until there's an event, you would be able to just drop it off.
I mean, would it be a once a week? I mean, like every day, it would be very.
Opening a Pandora's box.
Every Saturday. Trying on the streets, run out TVs on the street, just throwing them there. They wouldn't bring them in anyway.
No, I know.
I like that thought of limiting it to maybe the first Thursday of the month or something, and then. Yeah, you can
watch every
then it
delivery,
can't
you gotta
always be
watch every
accessible.
You really have to be.
I mean, I'm more concerned about what's going to be the
Well, I mean,
liability.
you have, we have equipment in, I mean, obviously it's gonna be in one of the pole barns and we have equipment and tools and so you really have to.
So my question is this something that you could move? If we had a collection at town hall, if you were just going to do it for one day a month, could you do it at town hall and then move it down to highway for them to pick up?
I mean, we'd have to transport it. I mean,
Is that,
just do it at the highway.
just do it at highway?
Because then you could store it very easily.
Okay.
I mean, I think we'd have to limit it and it would have to be like maybe once a month or something like that, or every
Or
week.
do a
or-
drop off at the.
Because you definitely have to police stuff like this because I really, our insurance company would have a big problem with
Yes.
people on it.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
You know, so you're gonna have to have a staff with them.
It would have to be, yes, no, this would have to be staffed.
And we could probably set something up like what we used to do. The Earth Day isn't what it used to be, but we used to set it up next to the parks side. We would set up a bunch of gaylords and I mean, we could probably be the best way to do it, like unfortunately, maybe a Saturday for people.
Like used to.
You know what I mean? Or, you know, we could do a Friday or a Monday or pick a day. You know what I mean?
So
we can
rather
manage it. We can
than a
manage it.
7-day a week or even a 5-day a week,
Yeah.
we can do consistent
We
events.
can manage it like with a schedule.
So
I
why,
mean, I don't know.
Still love it though. Still
Why
love
do
it.
we need a company?
why would you want to do that? That's not like, what, I mean, how did it come?
Service. Like,
It's a service. It's like the postal service, not there to make a profit. They're
Yeah,
making life easier.
I mean, you're adding.
We're gonna get rid of all the e-waste that we then collect. What are we gonna do with all the e-waste?
What is it, TVs?
Yeah, what are?
Computers, laptops, cell phones.
Batteries.
I mean, I don't think, I am not.
You need this to remind me, like, why can't you just do it once in a while? Why can't we just?
You drive through the line, guys come open your door, take all the stuff.
I think that's just on.
What'd you say?
I mean, we have stretched.
Do we need, do we need this company? Can we just take it somewhere? Is there somewhere we can take it? We're making
take stuff to, we take stuff to Metallica or TVs. We don't get charged at Battery World. I mean, we could limit what I mean.
I think the issue is the sorting. With this company, it's just they take everything and they do the sorting. So you're not figuring out, okay, I need to take this to here. Nope. No, it's.
Whatever
We're
they
wondering if
Yeah.
they're gonna take it or not. You're gonna wonder, are they even gonna accept this?
Yeah.
I am not very, I don't, I just feel like we are putting more stress on our staff. They're already stretched thin, and then it just becomes a.
This is a problem.
We continue to discuss it, but I don't like the idea either.
Do we have an e-waste
Problem at my
problem?
house now.
Right. Our highway department's busy enough.
Yeah.
And honestly, I mean, Al Sturpey puts on those
Don't make wrong.
They're
big. Al's
They
been
do.
every single one I've.
If we start doing this over again, is it only be for you have to show your DeWitt license?
Right.
Oh, that's a good point.
They'll be like a mile long cars every week.
Right.
I mean, have
Are you
you
gonna-
ever been to these electronic drop offs?
Yeah.
I mean, they're mobbed.
They have to care
Isn't
for
it
ball.
Okra takes some fee and then they do, because we have done some things in there, we gave them some money. I don't know, that's in the past.
Let me on this door.
I'm not in favor.
Bill G. Circus wants to.
There we go.
Lorraine, Lorraine on Sander.
That's fine. It was one of those proposals that comes through. I wanted to see what the board thought. So
I like the idea, but everybody's got value with that.
I'll talk to Sarah, see if I can convince Manlius to do it. We can send everybody over there.
Yeah, put it in the newsletter.
Okay.
Those three searches take you all anyways.
Yeah.
They shop around the firehouse.
Before we get to the check register, there's one more thing that we need to discuss. We have been requested from Trappers and JDL Sports they would like to get they would like to get an alcohol site license so that they could sell alcohol at Carrier Park.
But that's big.
So they believe that it would bring they believe that it would add significantly.
It certainly would.
Yes. And just for context, the RFP for Hopkins Road actually required an active alcohol license because the county wanted to sell alcohol at Hopkins.
But that's in the west.
So the reason why, so there's two reasons. One, I wanted to see where the board felt on this. I understand that it would be a moneymaker for them. In theory, that money would trickle up to the town.
GWI's court charges.
I saw, Judge Young was here earlier. We could have asked him if that would increase some of our fines and fees.
He's 18, he searches.
50 got
Just need a station some there.
Well.
Oh, now we're talking substations?
Yeah, there we go. So.
The East Building.
But beyond, if this was a direction that the board wanted to go, then I believe it would take a town law change, because as I read town law, our current town law prohibits the consumption of alcohol in all town parks.
That's what I am in that support.
Are there any other, if this law were to change in support of this establishment, are there any other establishments that would be found under that umbrella?
Maxwell Park.
No, actively operating under that.
I believe that I can't see any other park having, the only thing that I would say Carrier having going for it is that this would be when Trappers is open, which would mean that there is staff, not town staff, that at the park, in theory, monitoring this. And they tell me, they swear up and down, they never have any problems at Hopkins. I personally think I see all of the YouTube videos of, Little League parents going crazy without alcohol. I don't know that I want to add alcohol. Maybe we'll calm them down. Won't excite anybody.
So Max, they just started, right? The whole operation just is started. Why don't they monitor it and see what actually happens in a year? And then we will know how good their operations are, how effective they are.
What's the monitoring?
No.
Alcohol, no alcohol?
No, I am not in support of alcohol.
No,
personally.
what is the monitoring?
The monitoring is that how their operation is, we don't even know how good their operation is right now. It's too early.
Pretty terrible.
No, they're doing pretty good. I think Travis is doing pretty
Yeah,
good.
right.
Right? So I've heard. I've said that myself.
I mean, they don't have a steady revenue
So-
stream right now. We're just going to see what happens. And I am personally not in favor of that, so I don't think that's a place where it should be. I mean, there are other places people can go get alcohol.
Do they allow it in the Mets? They got like at the minor league and the play sports, like.
Yeah. That was back when I was drinking, but I went a few times.
Before the gym?
Yeah, before I went to the gym.
Is there a way that we could throw all liability onto JDL Sports and Trappers for this?
In theory, I mean,
Much larger conversation.
yeah.
Is the conversation they have to accept us throwing all the liability on
I
them?
would have to put a lot of thought into it. I can think of an unlimited amount of bad things that can happen.
Yeah.
By allowing us to be able to condition all of those, and it might be difficult, if not impossible, to against all these things.
It might also be a
But that's without- I don't
conversation.
want to inject my personal opinion too much. It's not that.
It might also be a conversation with our insurer as well to see
Yeah.
if that would affect insurance there.
Yeah.
They have someplace without alcohol. Come on.
But you would bring in alcohol in parks in bigger bags for a long
And
time.
they can
And they can
continue.
still do it, you know, so, no, I shouldn't say that,
Maybe
but
want to
I still will do that, you know, and
Listen.
want to drink that.
Yeah. Yeah, but then we become a party to that, if you agree to that.
You're gonna sell it at the park, well, and also, I would also mind how many people we're gonna have there at some, and so, having alcohol there.
Yeah.
You see that would be a couple situation.
What would
I am
happen
not
right now? Would it just be a fine or a ticket to somebody that was found having alcohol?
People leave the park, and they're talking about incidents that could happen after.
Oh, 100%.
Chief, how would you address if there was somebody
Like a month.
publicly intoxicated or making an issue at Carrier Park?
Depends on, you know, issue is obviously open container, if it's vacant, but I mean, if they're, you know, you can talk to people, rectify it,
Oh, my God.
knock it off. Or escort them out if they're being, you know, if we had to arrest them for disorderly conduct, we would. But if there's, you know, an appearance ticket for open container, we would, but I would hope that we would start with just a conversation. You know, it's playing baseball and, you know, if their parents are annihilated at it, I don't know. It's a good thing, but. Yeah, we deal with it, you know, however, we just
Not broken.
deal with it, just depends on the person, really.
Do they think, I mean, they're asking for the possibility of this for just the revenue
Yes,
aspect, or do they think?
It's revenue, it's money.
It's
I mean,
money.
That's what it is.
They,
They need more money, is what I'm saying. Are they not making enough money on the food?
Oh, there's such
According
an
to them,
upcharge,
yes.
such an upcharge in alcohol.
oh, yeah,
They can't
it's probably, I think it was along the lines of if they sold alcohol, they would double their revenue. Just on alcohol.
It's not $10 beers out there, you're gonna make a killing.
You do.
We should
So-
get the mission for the park and then stick to that. And what is the mission of the park?
Inclusion.
Mhm.
Not for.
Some people can't go out unless they.
Then they sit at the bar.
Is it possible that we could ask them for further documentation, i.e. what do you anticipate your revenue streams to look like, how quickly, like, just a way to just get the ball?
I don't like it. I mean,
I am in opposition.
this shouldn't be about money. This should be about principle.
I'm in up with this.
That's
Yeah,
exactly.
We built this park for kids. We built
I say, what is the mission of that park?
Well, because
Built for
that's
kids.
what
They want
happens,
to come out.
is you'll get people coming over.
I mean, $6 for him.
We don't want those people.
I understand.
I don't want
There's a
those.
lot.
Plenty of bars in the area.
I know, because that
Okay.
is.
I will let them know that at this time, the board is not interested in changing that.
Thanks.
Okay.
They ask, they, no.
No harm in asking. I
After eating good dinner, right?
I did, I mean.
Okay. The check register from May 26th, Comptroller Fusco is here. Are there any questions for the check register? Seeing none, do I have a motion to accept? From Bernard, a second from Joe. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Okay. Do we have any town board updates?
In the Arbor Day.
Yeah, Indu and I attended the Arbor Day celebration, very wet Arbor Day celebration, but it was nice. Actually, a few people showed up. The tree committee may have gained a new member. They tried to recruit somebody that had attend.
That's just that too.
Was there another one?
That's true.
I think since the beginning, like.
Oh, that was for the DACC, yeah. So it was a very nice Arbor Day celebration, yeah.
And I will consider getting a tree, maybe two.
in that.
And I did have a meeting with Dave and Rocco this morning. And we are going to do our best to advertise our street tree program this summer before the plantings in the fall. We have noticed requests for street trees have decreased since COVID. So we're going to try and let people know that program still exists and see if people. So street trees are trees that are planted in the right of way in front of people's houses. And it's been a long-standing program in DeWitt that you can request one, and the town will buy the tree and plant it in the right of way. And so we're just trying to get some more requests. Yeah. And we're probably going to make a push rather than just keeping it open to requests that come in. We're actually going to go, we're probably going to pick a neighborhood and make a specific attempt to say, hey, we're going to do some in your neighborhood. Would you like a street tree? Try and see if we can, that'll also help on our installation costs of if we're just doing, 3 or 4 on the same street, it's a lot easier than jumping around town.
And it goes with the green sustainability thing. I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they're very dedicated. I was very impressed with them.
Yes, the volunteers on our tree committee do a great job.
DEC is very involved with those, some part of the TEC. It was good. I enjoyed it.
Okay, are there any other updates? If none, then I'll take a motion to enter executive session from Joe, second from Indu. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
Good night, Jason.
We got something to sign.
Good stuff, Jason.
Syracuse.
Anybody can sign for you up here.
Syracuse Children's